Hey, this is Trent Rush. Welcome to the Under the Halo podcast, a highly anticipated edition of the Under the Halo podcast today as we talk with Angels top pitching prospect Caden Dana, who's already made one start at the major league level in his debut against Seattle, tossed 6 innings of 2-run baseball, and got the win in his first career start. We'll talk about that, get to know Caden Dana and his family a little bit, and learn a lot about the new Angels sensation on the mound. So here now is our conversation with Angels starting pitcher Caden Dana. All right, Caden, so we're going to talk about baseball in a second, but I was doing some barbecuing the other day. I did a pork shoulder and was doing that, and I'm all about that. Do you do you cook? Do you grill? Is that stuff you're into?
Yeah, every day.
Every day?
Every day.
What do you cook?
Lunch is usually ground beef, like a pound of ground beef, and then dinners I usually try to do a New York strip.
So you are you're your own personal chef. This is unbelievable. So what happens on road trips? What do you do in that case?
So I usually bring a hot plate, like a hot plate burner, and then I bring a pan, and I use the app Instacart, and I'll just wherever hotel we go to, I'll Instacart whatever I need, and then it's usually just salt, pepper, beef.
So hold on a second, because and now we know the secret to how you look like Zeus out there. But okay, so you're cooking burgers for lunch, steaks for dinner. Everywhere you go, that's what you eat. That's what it is. Doesn't matter what the team spread is. You're cooking your own deal. That's unbelievable, Caden. Who does that?
I mean, no, I'm definitely blessed now up here because we have chefs here. So I take advantage of that, and they take care of us. So, but on the road, you might not get to the field till 3 o'clock like today.
Yeah.
It's I need to eat at morning and maybe 2 o'clock. So I cook myself.
Okay, so the Caden Dana diet is just red meat,
red meat.
Just load up on the protein.
Oh yeah.
So do your teammates ever when you're cooking a steak? Do your teammates when you were in AA, when you were in Rocket City, we're man, I just saw you toss 7 innings of shutout baseball last night. I gotta get on that program too. Yeah. Can you cook me one? Does any of that stuff happen?
Honestly, I was a lot of guys on our team in AA were almost like me. Not really to the certain extent, but it was more they all love red meat. So every Monday we'd get together, or my catcher T-Pain, we would just get together, and last Monday we made a picanha, and it was I brought some strips over. Everyone loves red meat there. It was great. It was I fit right in.
Hold on, this is pretty remarkable. So you're you're your own chef. You're cooking all this stuff. That's crazy to be doing that while you're also trying to compete and make it to the major leagues at 20 years old, which we've already seen you make a start up here. But to go through that process, tell me a little bit about what that minor league experience was like. 20 years old, pretty relatively fresh out of high school and rising in the system and playing minor league ball. What were those days like?
They're pretty great. My day-to-day schedule, I've found a nice gym out there, pretty new gym. So every morning, go to the gym, do a couple stretches, and run a little bit, sauna, and then field, eat my ground beef, and then it was play catch and have fun with the guys, and then pregame it'd be steak. And
see, I'm doing it all wrong. I've been working the protein powder in with the Greek yogurt. I just need to eat a steak, and I'll look like Caden Dana. I think it's how maybe a little bit of lifting goes into that, a little bit part of the plan. Mm-hmm. You are a professional athlete after all. Pretty cool getting a chance to see you make your debut against the Seattle Mariners. Recording this just a couple days after that start. Boy, Caden, for you to be able to go out there and pitch as well as you did you think that you were going to be able to have that kind of success right away?
Honestly, I didn't really think about the outcome too much. It was more just 1 inning at a time. Yeah. Talking to Barry and Ryan, it was get me through the first inning. I just need to get through the first inning. That was the whole talk, pregame. It was I know how nervous I'm going to be. I know the environment, what it's going to be like. Get me through the first inning. And then it was after that, it was all right, here we go, second inning.
But to close out that first 95 for the strikeout, that must have been walking off the mound there. What was the feeling? Just a big exhale? Was it all right, let's do this? What was going through your mind in that moment?
Yeah, no, that was special. It was just, reached back for that one, and then, end of the inning in a 1-2-3, and that was special for me. That was a little sigh of relief at the same time. It's all right, I got to go through this lineup a couple more times, so let's let's start game planning.
Little reality check as to, these are what major league hitters look like. That must have been a unique thing too, because I know like in AA, and I hope fans mostly know this, but at the AA level, you're seeing top prospects. I mean, there are some people that will argue the ceiling, the talent level in AA sometimes is even higher than what you see at AAA. Yeah. But then to make that jump to the major leagues, still pretty significant. What did you notice about making that jump?
Takes, guys know their strengths a lot better here. Obviously, I mean, really, it's just like they know you better. Honestly, it's like you go to AA game and the scouting reports maybe aren't as in depth. And guys might know that my curveball like is not my best strike pitch here, and they might be sitting something else. And just I feel like the hitters, for a hitter's perspective, is just everything. They know themselves. They know what to swing at. They know what they do damage on, and they take it to an extent.
That's why I kind of think that makes sense, because at that level, you're focused on development. You're worried about yourself. You're not necessarily worried about your opponent as much. Up here, you're here to win the game, and you did in your major league debut. To have that feeling, you're gonna be able to, Caden, you're gonna tell this story the rest of your life of what that day was like. But what can you say about the feeling when the ball game is over? Joyce able to close it out, who was your teammate in Rocket City earlier this year, and you get a victory your first time on a major league mound. What was that like?
I mean, even before Joyce came in, and honestly, the rest of our bullpen's been looking, perfect this whole week or last week, and so I have a lot of faith in them. And obviously, the last inning comes along, we have the lead, and Joyce is warming up. I'm like, here we go. And then so that was exciting. Before he even came in, I was excited, and I knew he was going to do well. And honestly, I would say the best feeling that day was right when Joyce closed it out. Obviously, I had all the the locker room stuff that I can't really talk about too much, but you get like showering and getting back up on the field and seeing all my family. Like that was probably the most special moment that day.
I was going to ask you, who was first to greet you? Who got the first hug?
I'm pretty sure I hugged my dad first, but honestly, if I were to like go back and think about it, I probably would have hugged my mom first. My mom's an angel.
So you have great parents supporting you here, coming to your major league debut. A great baseball family. Your brothers played at Seton Hall, and your sister one brother drafted by the Padres, and then you have your sister involved in everything you're doing. Boy, what a family, and what a competitive family. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about growing up as the youngest of four with two high-level athlete brothers as well. What can you say about that time when you're coming up with all those?
I guess the best example I can give you is probably COVID. That's where it all started with like my growth. It was waking like I maybe lasted 3 days, but the first 3 days of COVID, everything shut down. I'm sleeping in till 1, and like the third day, my brothers were like, "Get out of bed, get up. We're going to work out. You can't lay on bed all day. Like let's go." And so that's what started it, and it was just ever since then it's been competition, and it's just who could lift more, who could throw harder, who could throw farther, and my sister always ties in. I have to say she's the best athlete in the family. I have to say that. But yeah, that's where it all started, and then it all became just like little stuff. So even like when my brother was in pro ball, the oldest one, he was a pitcher, and like going down to Cressy when I was in high school, we throw a bullpen side by side. It's like, all right, who could throw harder today? It was something like that. And even during COVID, I faced my other brother Casey. Like I faced him live, and even that was competition. It's like, let's go. So yeah, that's where it all started.
So when you were little, was it always like, man, it's trying to beat my brothers, I just can't do it. This is tough competition. Like were you always the one? Being the youngest, were you always the one that was kind of getting dunked on as a kid, and then maybe had to work your way to a little redemption there?
100%. That was I mean, they made my skin tough. It was back then I hated it, but now looking back, it's like I'm thankful for it. It's awesome.
What's your relationship like with him now?
We text each other on FaceTime with brothers every day.
Yeah.
It's awesome. We always have something to talk about.
Yeah.
And he's my oldest brother is getting married and having a kid soon, so I'm always interested in what's next for him. So I always call him.
That's pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand you were talking about this when you were on the Pally's broadcast the other night about your time as a hitter, as a kid. Tell me a little bit about this, because as I understand it, your dad kind of wanted you to be a hitter, and you were always a hitter growing up. Where'd that come from?
So my dad was he was a hitter. He was that's all he knows. And he was a first baseman at Fairfield. And really it started, I'm trying to think, when I was young, it was like, obviously my oldest brother was the pitcher. He was like, I have to go back to that question. Like they asked me if I looked up at any pitchers. It was always my brother. That's it. That's all I looked at. It's always who I compared myself to. But yeah, my dad was, I was a lefty hitter, and so was he, and I was the only lefty hitter in the family because my brother Casey was a righty, and so he's always telling me to tell me stuff about my swing. Even in high school, like my senior year, when I knew there was a chance, professional baseball could have been the next step. It was like I can pitch 7 innings, not give up a hit, and then I'd go 0 for 4. He's like, "What was that about?" Like this is, what are you doing with your swing here? Like that's always been. And even that, like, I'm thankful for, because it would just take my mind off, the other stuff. But like hitting was always a big thing in my family.
So when did you figure out that you were going to be a pitcher? Was it just because you kept having days where you weren't hitting and getting a bunch of strikeouts? Is that kind of how things got decided there?
I think the consistency of the mound stayed pretty strong and compared to the plate. But even when I struggled at the plate, I made sure I was, getting back into the routine. But I would say COVID. COVID was probably the biggest time where I saw the growth on the mound with like velo and pitches and stuff. And we had a good group during COVID. We had, thankfully, my brother's teammate at Seton Hall opened up a gym in a huge turf area, and we just do live ABs. And I had guys like James Karinchak, my oldest brother, and pro guys that had been around, and have them in my ear throwing bullpens, throwing lives, and that's kind of what started the growth for me. And so as a pitcher, and it kind of just topped off being a hitter. Yeah.
Do you ever try to get back in the cage like now, like this season?
Oh yeah. I mean, I do I swing like weighted bats to loosen up before every start.
Okay.
So like I still keep the swing ready. But
they have the DH in both leagues now, so it really doesn't matter anymore.
They do. It's hitting's fun. I always thought hitting was fun, so.
I love it. And so still, like, I ask this question because I feel like every time I talk to athletes, it's athletes and musicians. Every musician I've ever met has always wanted to be an athlete, and every athlete I've ever met has always wanted to be a musician. Now I feel like we're talking like a hitter-pitcher thing. So you're a pitcher that's made it to the major leagues and having success here, top pitching prospect in the organization. But Caden, are you telling me that you'd rather be a hitter? Is that part of what it is?
No, I'm already too deep into the hole. I'm on full PO. But I definitely think go back to like high school. I'll go through my phone sometimes, look at the hitting highlights sometimes. But.
Reminisce a little bit.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
The high school memories, and I was watching some of your video, by the way. You have like some huddle tapes. I was watching some of your punts and playing a little bit of football and working that in, the football side with the baseball, being a multi-sport athlete. Mm-hmm. What was Caden Dana, the football player, like?
Definitely utility. Freshman year I was quarterback, and then honestly I didn't play too much. I didn't really play too much in football. Because baseball was always priority. Yeah. So like I'd take baseball as far as possible in the summer, and then I show up to football, and Bosco's a really serious football school, and it's like, all right, I don't even know the plays here, and these guys are 2 months in. So it was always tough to transition from baseball to football. But sophomore year I was on JV, and that was fun, but I figured out I could punt a football pretty well, and then I started working towards it. And then sophomore year to senior year, I was the starting punter on varsity, and I got pretty good at it. And it also helped being a quarterback and run some fakes and stuff like that. Yeah. So, but then junior year I wasn't even a quarterback. Junior year I played receiver most of the year, and then senior year went back to quarterback, and I was just all over. I was just wherever you need me, I'm there.
I'm so disappointed to learn this information now. Caden, why couldn't you have told me this a week ago? We had a big kickball game. I could have used you on my kickball team. We need that right there to get a little bit of homers, and maybe my team wouldn't have gone 1-2.
Maybe I could have helped.
I would think so, especially in a big again. Don Bosco Prep, big-time football program out there in New Jersey. So balancing that football, baseball life, and obviously knowing baseball's priority and being a highly touted recruit, we're committed to going to Kentucky before you end up being drafted by the Angels, but you still kept playing football. Why was it important to do that?
I always thought like the best thing growing up, and my dad can, attend to this, it's like you got to play other sports. Like that's what makes you an athlete, just being able to do different things. I think that's the biggest thing. It was not like I easily could have just said, oh, baseball's me, not doing anything else. Yeah. But like football like takes my mind off baseball, and then baseball takes my mind off football, and it's like, when you make that transition, I feel like that's what makes me feel most athletic. And so I and also it makes you like miss the game more. So it's like you're not just 24/7 baseball, and then all right, I'm getting tired of all these tournaments, traveling and stuff like that. It's like, no, I got football, and it's like, oh, I can't wait to get back to baseball. So I think that was the biggest thing, playing multiple sports.
Caden, I got to tell you, you saying that, I mean, I have heard from so many people, and especially out here in Southern California, a lot of three-sport athletes, you can do it. You can play baseball year-round, too, out here, the weather being what it is. People get burnt out, and talented guys get burnt out from it. So did you kind of feel like maybe the ability to play multiple sports maybe kept you from that?
100%.
Yeah.
I think playing multiple sports, even like, I played basketball freshman year, but I kind of had to give it up because, you got to make a decision somewhere. Got to make time for throwing, in the winter. So but like I still play, pick up basketball here and there just to like, take my mind off and just be an athlete. But yeah, playing multiple sports I think is the best thing growing up. Like for if you want to be good and you want to be athletic, and I think that's the best thing.
So are you just like in that household? Is it just a big sports household? You guys watching games all the time? I'm kind of getting the vibe. Maybe a little bit of that's going on.
Yeah, there's competition anywhere. Trying to think, we were. Even when I went home for 3 days, and after the All-Star break, and my first day home, like we bought a beach volleyball net, and we shaved like a part of our grass in the backyard for the court. Bought a volleyball, and it was like the first day back we played 4 hours of beach volleyball, like just 2v2, like me and my sister versus two brothers, like just like volleyball, just competing right away. Like that's kind of the things we do. It's just that's what makes us.
Speaking of hanging at the beach, I know you've only had one off day since you've been at the major league level, but here you are in beautiful Southern California. We got some pretty nice beaches out here in Orange County. Have you had a chance at all to kind of explore or get into the Orange County lifestyle at all?
I went down to Newport on my off day with my family. Yeah. That was pretty special. That was awesome. It was pretty packed Labor Day. Sure. But yeah, it was perfect. The water was pretty cold. I like that. It was good. Felt good. That's
a different, because it comes down from Alaska, and it can be chilly at times. I must admit, I will also say I am not really one for going in the water. We have some surfers on the team, but I don't mess with that. I stay on the beach, and I try to find eat food. Yeah. I think that's kind of where I'm at when I'm going down to the beach. That being said, for you, just kind of getting together with your teammates and breaking it a little bit, maybe who have some of the guys been that have kind of taken you under their wing and helped you out while you've made this transition to Major League Baseball?
I think Joyce is probably the first name that I can think of, because he's been with me in AA, and we were real close in AA, and like seeing someone like that, like I played with this guy at AA, it's like, and I'm seeing him perform here in the big leagues, it's like, like let me pick his brain a little bit. So like that was probably the first guy I reached out to. Victor Maderos, another guy, Jack Hanowitz, like guys that I've played with or in AA and Rocket City, those were the first guys I probably reached out to about just the little things that, the little adjustments that they, saw that they had to make.
It seems like a really good group of pitchers. Mm-hmm. And was that, and now all you guys are starting to make your way to the major leagues, and I know there's going to be more coming, and this is just kind of what is going on with this organization right now, where you have a bunch of young talents that are rising very quickly here through this organization. Were there ever like discussions when you guys were in AA, after a game, you're on a big bus ride, like, man, we're going to be doing this in the big league someday? Did that kind of stuff ever come up?
We didn't say that out loud, but I mean, it probably was a thought at one point between all of us, and I mean, it's happening now, and we're all thankful for it, and I know I am, and So yeah, I mean, it's definitely something we didn't like say out loud, but like, you know, we were just in the moment with it.
You kind of know. Logan O'Hoppe is emerging as a team leader here for the Angels. And I know that kind of a funny moment, you on your first day here, you're doing a little scrum with the media and everyone's asking you a bunch of questions. And, well, you're all of a sudden the Angels catcher pops up in the middle of a press conference and he starts peppering questions at you. Was it kind of cool to have a moment like that with Logan O'Hoppe and kind of breaking the ice a little bit?
Yeah, like you said, like breaking the ice, perfect. Like that's basically what it is. I mean, I'm sure he probably just wanted to, you know, mess with me a little bit, but
teasing the rookie.
Yeah, it's something to be expected. But like I love stuff like that. You know, that's what makes this lifestyle fun. It's just like messing with each other, and that builds like a good chemistry in the locker room. And but yeah, like you said, he's a great leader, and like based off what I've seen so far, like he's probably one of our top leaders, and he does a really good job of it.
Is it a little intimidating walking into a big league clubhouse as a player doing that for the first time, or is that just like, no, man, I know these guys. I was with them in spring training. It's no big deal. Is there a little bit of that?
In a way, like it's partially, yeah. I mean, even though I did spend time with some of these guys in spring training, I still felt new.
Sure. And
I still felt like the young guy. And but I also, like, that was one of the things I try to, like, avoid. It was like, don't, like feel that way about yourself, like, oh, I'm the young guy. It's like, no, like, act like you've been here before, and act like you're not, the young guy in the locker room, or like, take that to the mound. So like that was one of the things. It was cool because I haven't seen all these guys in 5 months, so it was definitely cool coming back and at least being somewhat familiar with most of them.
Meanwhile, in those 5 months, you make 23 starts at AA level, pitched to a 2.52 ERA, lead all of AA in strikeouts. You had a remarkable AA season to earn this opportunity, Caden. And when you reflect on what you were able to accomplish there, do you feel like you were really able to just kind of maximize everything that this season presented at the AA level?
In a way, yeah. I would just say I think I did a really good job of just enjoying it.
Yeah.
It was a big step from high last year, and I knew it was going to be a big step. And like Huntsville, I said this multiple times, like it's a great place. It was, it made it easy for me to be where my feet are, and so like that helped me take it one day at a time and create a routine. And it was really just, I think I enjoyed the most of it. And met a lot of good people and played with a lot of good people, and so that was probably the biggest thing I take away.
Caden, I know one of the reasons why you're here right now, beyond just the fact that you earned it, but when you're thinking about what 2025 could look like and competing for a job, I know that part of why you're here is to learn, and the development is not done. And I know that the Angels are concentrated on getting the absolute most out of you and continuing that development process even at the major league level. I know you're just one start in, but do you feel like there are some things that you're learning about yourself, about what you can do by being able to pitch in these kind of games, the difference between Major League Baseball and AA baseball?
100%. You get away with a lot more in the minor leagues, and it's just like, like just said, like there's a lot more in-depth reports. There's a lot more technology up here, and it's a lot more knowledge and experience, and that's like the biggest thing. So, to be honest, like going to the next outing, I still think I have a lot to work on, and like still got to control the nerves. I mean, even though first outing got out of the way, definitely broke the ice a little bit, but I'm still going to be have that adrenaline going into this weekend. So. It's definitely still a lot of things I can work on and improve on.
Caden, I've gotten a chance to spend time with a lot of pitchers and some really, really good ones. I don't think that adrenaline ever goes away for the really good ones. That every time you're out there, that seems to be something that drives these guys. That's why it matters so much. There's nothing like Major League Baseball. Mm-hmm. So when you consider all of that and what you're going to take in, what are you hoping to get out of the rest of this year in your time here in the major leagues before a reset in the offseason and a chance to compete in the spring?
Just to maintain feeling strong, feeling healthy, and obviously getting comfortable with this new environment. Like meaning like the team, like the locker room. Like I want to build that relationship and build that chemistry going into next year. But yeah, I mean, I can get like 3 or 4 more starts left, so finishing strong and kind of getting used to this new life.
Caden, what an experience. What a ride. I can't only imagine how proud your parents are. They just real quick, they got to be so excited what's happening here.
Yeah, no, they are. I mean, it was been a very emotional day and weekend for them and for me, and I'm so glad they made it out, and I can only imagine what they're probably thinking. I mean, let alone me.
Well, congratulations. I guarantee whatever your emotions are, your parents, I'm telling you, it's times 10 at least right now. Okay, congratulations on what you've accomplished so far. We're just getting started, and I can't wait to be doing this again with you real soon.
Yes,
appreciate
sir. Thank you.
Caden.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us on the Under the Halo podcast. If you want to check out any other episodes of the Under the Halo podcast, if you're watching on YouTube right now, we'll continue to check out youtube.com/angels. Maybe you're going to be on the road driving and you can only listen. Well, an audio-only podcast is available as well. You go to angels.com/podcast to check that out, or download and subscribe wherever you're getting your podcasts already. Again, my name is Trent Rush. Thanks for hanging out with us on the Under the Halo podcast.